What up, Tupac expert? Once a motherfucking again, you heard me. Yeah. You like that? I like that. Yo, man. I made a video a while back about, was Tupac real? Was Tupac fake? Was Tupac an actor? You decide, bruh. And I showed this video that Tupac did an interview. I think on the movie Gridlock, he did an interview on set, you know, after filming. He talks about how he's an actor. He's an actor first before he was a rapper. He was an actor, and how he put himself in the streets to gain the ability to act, to gain the ability to have anger, to take from the streets and put it in his acting. And you know, and I have to admit, Tupac confused me and a lot. He's a complex individual, and you have to really be a thinking person to figure out Tupac, because watching that video can break your heart, can actually make you think he was fake. But Tupac is a more complex. Tupac is too much of a complex character to just say he's fake because of that video interview he did. Looking at that interview, and Tupac really did an injustice to himself, I think, in making that interview, because there's always two sides of Tupac. Tupac even admitted he has a soft side and a hard side, and that was a soft side. That was the real soft side of Tupac in that interview, because Tupac has two sides to him. Everybody knows that. And Tupac said himself, the soft side likes to blow up the hard side. In summary, what I want to say to that interview is you have to study Tupac's full character. Just don't take from that interview and decide that you know Tupac. You have to study a lot of the things. You have to look into Tupac's life. You have to look into all the actions that he took into it. You have to look at all the actions that Tupac took during his life. You have to look at all the interviews that Tupac did. You have to look at everything he said. You can follow Tupac's life, from his friends telling you about him, because all his friends say he wasn't a thug, You can look at young videos he did back in the day when he was young, when he was in high school, and he lived an American teen life. He went to a school of performing arts. He was friends with Jada Pinkett. He met her there. But Tupac had these two sides to him, even though, like I said, he's a complex dude. Like, he lived the side that, and he took ballet too. So he lived the side, he lived that good old American boy side, and he lived that thug side also. His mom was a crackhead. They was poor. He was raised in the hood. So he knows both worlds. He grew up around, he went to school with a lot of white folks and black folks also, But he knows that white world also, a little bit of it, because he stayed with his best friend John Cole, who was white. John Cole's family had a little money, I guess. They were middle class white people. But Tupac, growing up, all his friends will tell you he wasn't a thug. But he was a hood boy. I mean, Tupac was surrounded by thugs. He was surrounded in the hood. He was growing up in the hood. You know, he smoked weed with his mom growing up. So I would say Tupac was very intelligent, an intelligent person who, as a kid, was a very intelligent person as a kid and knew right from wrong and knew not to be a thug. You know, he knew not to call he knew not to call girls bitch, as he said in the interview. He was younger. So, and his mom raised him right. His mom, even though she had her issues on addiction, she did raise him to be an intelligent person. She didn't raise him to be a thug. You know, thugs are unconscious people. Tupac was conscious. So he wasn't a thug, nowhere near being a thug, but he could empathize with thugs because he was surrounded by thugs. So he could understand them. Though he was not one himself, he was too sensitive to be. He was a above average intelligent kid. So he knew better not to, he knew more. He knew better than to be a thug. I mean, thugs don't know no better. Tupac knew better. Tupac wanted to work as a teen. He had a job. You know, he couldn't even sell drugs. He was too sensitive to sell dope. What thug is too sensitive to sell dope? Tupac didn't want to sell dope. Couldn't do it. He wanted to be a rapper as a kid. And he didn't rap about thug life as a kid. He rapped about black, you know, he rapped about uplifting black people. Kind of like conscious rap. Well, I think it was conscious rap. He rapped about, he was on that Black Power stuff. He was on that Black Panther movement. He wanted to be he wanted to join the New Age Black Panthers. He was on that Fight the Power, that EP, that Chuck D. He was in that spirit. He was on that kick. You know, all his raps was about government, about intelligent stuff, about the wrongs in society and how we need to clean up and do better for ourselves. That's what he was rapping about. But he wasn't rapping about no thug life. That's the intelligent side of Tupac. You know. But Tupac got caught up in the game of gangster rap. He got caught up in the game because when he came along, that conscious shit was going out. Conscious rap wasn't selling. So, and his friends said it also, he had to change his style to the gangster shit. He had to do what sells. Kind of like selling out. He kind of like selling himself, kind of like selling his people out. In a sense, he sold out to feed his family. But because, like I said, he knew better. He was more intelligent. He wasn't a thug rapper. He wasn't. He was too intelligent to be a gangster thug rapper. But he had to dumb down his rap lyrics to feed his family. And that's what he did. He dumbed down his rap lyrics, feed his family. Then you get thug life. Then you get the coon shit, thug life. You know. Even though he had a conscience, even though he knew he was doing wrong, he even tried to clean it up and say thug life. Thug stands for the hate you gave little infants fucks everybody. You know, he tried to clean it up because he had a conscience that what he was doing, he was fucking his people with his thug life shit. He was fucking over his people with that message, but he tried to clean it up because he had a conscience. So he made up this statement that the hate you gave little infants fucks everybody, which didn't carry no weight because thugs still gonna be low life thugs. You know, they don't give a shit about what he was talking about. He didn't even. But that was him just trying to. That was just him having a conscience of trying to change a negative into a positive. You know, but all this thug shit that he was doing, it was just to feed his family, man. That's why he went that route. You know, people can say, well, no, he went that route so he can gain, so he can get the thugs on his side, so then they can change. Bullshit. He did that shit to feed his fucking family. He did the shit that sells. You know, kind of a way to sell out. It's kind of a way to sell out your people, though. You know, he sold out his people. I ain't gonna front. He sold out his people with the thug image, with that thug life. I mean, with the thug life, sold himself out to feed his family. Sold his people out to this day because people still take that negative side of Tupac, of his message, and run with it and do negative shit. So he did harm to his people with that thug stuff. I love Tupac, but he sold himself out for money. Sold himself out to feed his family, which I can't judge him because, you know, when you're starving, when you're broke, when you're poor, I mean, this is stuff that people do to survive. This is no different than being a drug dealer. When you feel you have no other option but to sell drugs to feed your family. So this, in a way, thug life is just a drug. It's a drug. It was a drug that got Tupac killed. Living thug life. You know, he got caught. He lived this game. He lived his life. He entered the game of thug life. Entered this game of, you know, gangsterism, and he played the part. He entered the game and he played the part well. Played the part better than anybody in the world. He played the part and it cost him his life. I'm not saying he was acting, even though he said he created a facade at first. I don't understand what he mean by he created a facade, unless he's talking about the tattoos and the bandana he was wearing and the sagging of the pants. If that's what he meant by creating a facade, I don't know. I didn't know his person. I didn't know how he dealt personally with people. But as far as him creating a facade, like he said he did, I think it was more of an outside image that he portrayed. He portrayed this outside image of him being hardcore with the tattoo, the bandana, but it didn't really reflect in his music. Because in his music, even though he didn't really front. He kept it real in his music. On the Thug Life album, it was more. It was some gutter like. I mean, it was gutter shit, but he kept it real. He didn't front in his lyrics like he was the biggest, baddest motherfucker on the planet. He didn't front like that. He kept it real in his songs. In all his songs, he pretty much kept it honest. He wasn't portraying a facade in his music. So when he says he created a facade, I think it was more of the outside appearance. Because in his music, he seemed to come off as honest, and sensitive, and true. And I don't see that as fronting at all. Songs like well, hey, ain't got time for bitches. Gotta keep my mind on my motherfucking riches. Even if I die, they don't worry me. Mama, don't cry, bury me a G. You know, you can say the G was front when he said bury me a G, but that's some true shit. Ain't got time for bitches, gotta keep my mind on my motherfucking riches. That's some real shit anybody can relate to, from the corporate CEO to the dude that's working a 9 to 5. Anybody, you can relate to that. Because if you ain't got no money, bitches don't want you. Females don't want you. You can't do nothing with a female. You ain't got no money. You can't do nothing. Can't go nowhere without money. You got to get that money first. Money over bitches, some true shit. So that's the reason. That's the reason Tupac was so great, because his music was true and it wasn't phony. It wasn't phony. He went through everything he said. If he didn't go through it, he explained to you that he's relating, or he's rapping about somebody else's life that went through it. Pour out a little liquor. How long will they mourn me? You know, shit like that. These songs are not fronting at all. Cradle to the grave, straight balling. And then the Machiavelli CD, the Me Against the World, but that is not gangster at all. That is just somebody being honest, pouring out their heart to you. Shed so many tears. How can you be gangster saying you shed so many tears? That wasn't gangster. So he wasn't creating a facade in his music. On the Hit 'Em Up track, all that Biggie diss. Now that probably was I believe that was a facade. All that Biggie diss shit, I think that was fake. He dissing Biggie like that. He knew who shot him. He knew Jimmy Henchman set him up. He already knew that. I think I made videos explaining that. He knew Jimmy Henchman set him up already. He knew Biggie didn't have nothing to do with it. So I believe that was a facade. You know, going off on Biggie, fucking Faith. That was just pure evil of him. And Tupac did a lot of evil shit too. Now he wasn't an angel. He did a lot of evil shit with Suge Knight, being around Suge. And this was just Tupac trying to please Suge, I believe. Tupac was in Suge's world, the devil's world, in a mad, insane world, trying to please this guy, trying to show this guy that he's just as evil as he is, trying to show this guy that he's bad and he can do anything. You know, he can do some of the most terrible, deplorable things, which Tupac was behaving badly because he felt like he owed. I guess he felt like he did that. I guess he felt like he did that to prove something, that he's tough. That shows his insecurity. That shows he created a monster. That shows he had to live up to something. Shows he felt he had to live up to this so-called thug that he really wasn't. He had to play this game, and it cost him life, and it cost him his life playing this game of this facade. Now that was when he was in facade mode, when he was on death row, hanging with Suge, disrespecting Dr. Dre, talking about Dr. Dre because he wanted to please Suge, because Suge is an instigator, and Suge goes around being two-faced and talking about people and being a shit starter, and Tupac right with him, you know, being evil along right with him, being two-faced right with him, and Tupac got caught up in that bullshit, and that bullshit cost him his life. You know, Tupac was just being influenced and just got caught up in the madness. Tupac was in the madness zone, in that world of madness. And, you know, because Tupac wanted to relate to Suge, and I guess Tupac was in acting mode in that sense, I believe, because he was doing shit, I mean, just really trying to impress, just really trying to be gangster, and, you know, he hanging with gangsters, so he feel like he gotta be the most gangster nigga. You know, he got them helping to stomp, to helping to beat up death row rappers. The guy that what's the guy name that didn't have no West Coast artists in his video? Tupac got the Outlaws to hit him in the head, and the guy was humiliated. And this was like Sam Snead, yeah. You know, and that wasn't the Tupac. That didn't even sound like that was Tupac. That didn't even. I was shocked that Tupac did that, man. You know, got the Outlaws, just knock them upside the head because Suge Knight, you know, just trying to please Suge Knight, you know, shit like that, and shit like trying to get the Outlaws to start fights with people. And this coming from Frank Alexander's book. He's trying to get Outlaws, telling Outlaws they need to get in the fight so he can fight people. You know, that was Tupac was going mad. The guy was going mad. The guy wanted to stay in that zone, I guess. Stay in that facade zone or acting, I don't know. Because sometimes when you get in this zone, a lot of actors do that. They live their role. They live it. They have to live it. Will Smith talk about being in a role and staying in the character. Staying in character. Even when you're not filming, staying in that character. And Tupac was in that character zone, man. Just just out of his mind, just madness. And like I said, that's what got him killed. But like I said, he was doing that. I guess he felt he owed Suge. He felt like he had to be this hard gangster. He had to be this evil motherfucker that would do anything, and he had to play this role because Tupac didn't act like that around, you know, other people like Digital Underground. Happy, lucky, go type of guy, having fun, being silly. But you know, this is just my opinion. I think he was in facade mode, man. Especially on that "Hit 'Em Up" song, man. Just going at Biggie like that, you would think Biggie shot him. I mean, it was just stupid. I mean, the song is one of the greatest disses of all time, but it was fucking stupid. He had no reason to even be mad at Biggie. To be honest with you, he had no reason to diss Biggie like that. He had no reason to make that song. If anything, that song should have been pointed towards Jimmy Henchman, not Biggie. Talking about you fucking Biggie's wife. Why ain't you fuck Jimmy Henchman's wife? You know, I mean, it was just retarded, and it was like it was madness. Tupac was mad, going mad, man. I mean, really hating this guy. I think he resented the fact that Biggie blowed up, got real popular while he was in jail, and Biggie didn't. He felt like Biggie didn't give a fuck about him, and I guess that's why he really wanted to destroy Big, because he felt all the stuff that he did for Biggie didn't support him when he was in jail, so he felt I'm gonna kill this nigga. He didn't support me. I'm in jail. I'm not, you know. I helped him. Now he gonna blow up and try to take my spot? Oh hell no! I'm finna destroy this nigga career. Hell no! Fuck that! Fuck that nigga! You know. That's how I felt. That's the way he thought. And yeah, man. I mean, just being around Suge, and I think sometimes when you hang around people, they influence you, and I think him being around Suge, he was influenced in a negative way, and he did negative things. He knew better, yes, he knew better, but he did them anyway. Now, am I wrong to say he was acting or creating a facade? Tupac told you he created a facade himself, so how can I be wrong when Tupac says it? Tupac tells you he's an actor, and he gains a lot of his the angerisms and all that manner off the street, and he brings it into his acting roles. So how can you be mad at me for saying he was possibly Uh, he knew better, but he was in that zone, in that playing a role zone also. But maybe I don't know. But I'm gonna say maybe he didn't even feel like he was acting. Maybe he was so caught up being in that environment that that was him. Maybe that was him. I don't know Tupac personally, man. Only his family members and friends that knew him personally can actually tell you, was the Tupac death row, was that really Tupac, or was he playing a role, or was he just deep in character? Only the outlaw members can tell you that. Only his family members can tell you that. I can't really tell you that. I mean, all I can give you is my guess. Coming from his own mouth. But I say he was in facade mode, but I don't know. I can't really be sure because, like I said, some of us, when we get around certain people, we can be influenced by these people. When we're around negative people all day, if you're around gangsters all day, you're gonna start being a gangster yourself. You're gonna start acting gangster. You're gonna get caught up in that world. You may start doing some gangster shit yourself. So maybe he was maybe he just was caught up in that life and didn't really know what he was doing. Just caught up in the madness. But man, I think that's it. I think I said enough. Yeah. Tupac. Great guy. Great spirit. Great artist. Great talent. Great heart. The man had a great heart. Through all his flaws. Through all his flaws. Through all his wrongings. Through all the bad shit that he did. In his lowest state, the man had a great heart. In his most evilest state, the man had a great heart. The man was still great. The man just died too soon. Fate just took him off this planet a little too soon. Because he didn't get a chance to redeem himself. And that's the tragedy of Tupac. He didn't get a chance to redeem himself. He didn't get a chance to what they say, how Farrakhan, Nation of Islam said, atone. He did for his sins. He didn't get a chance to atone for his sins. He didn't get a chance to say, forgive me, I'm sorry. He didn't get a chance to say that. That's the tragedy. Because I knew he was sorry for all the wrongs he did. And he died before he can tell people he was sorry. And forgive me. Because he made a lot of mistakes. But through all that, through all his faults, the man is still a great person. The man's heart still pumps loudly through all our spirits. So, in death, he overcomes. And he's forgiven. Because the whole world loves Tupac. The whole world knows Tupac's heart. And that's the thing that truly matters. His music was real. His music reflects his big heart that he had. And that's why you gotta respect Tupac. He's the man. I'm out.